I've got a problem with this back door on this Ford F-150 extended cab. It acted a little funny when I closed it one time, and then I went and closed it again, and now it won't open. It won't budge. The top won't budge and the bottom won't budge. Oh, I just heard something fall down in there too. There's a locking mechanism at the bottom and a locking mechanism at the top. We're going to have to get into it and fix it, and I'll show you how. Now, of course, it's going to be a lot easier to work on it with it open. So my first goal is to get this door opened up. I'm going to move this front seat up as far as it'll go and tilt the back forward. That gives me some room back in here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And that one works nice. Now I've got a little cleanup to do in there, then I'll be ready to go to work. And for a little extra room, I can tilt this back seat up. Now this job doesn't take a lot of tools. Basically just need a Phillips screwdriver and a 10mm socket. Of course I'm going to use my impact, but you don't have to. You can just use a hand screwdriver. But I have an operating back window here. So I'm going to take this hinge off here. Just these two Phillips screws. Pull that aside. And then this back top panel just snaps on. You can just grab in a couple places, and I can feel it's getting tight here, so there's a snap fitting there. There we go. You want to pull kind of careful. Work your way down. There's another one. And another one. And then I'll go across the top here. I can feel it's tight here. Pop that off. Work my way down. Get a little tight there. And she's off. And we'll set her aside. Now we have access to a little trim piece here. These are just snap fittings. Phillips, and a 10mm. So I'll take the Phillips out. The other Phillips out. And we'll get the 10mm out. Good. And then we've got this pop fitting here. Then I pushed it in. There we go. You just push it in, push the center in, and then it compresses this and you can get that out. And then to reinstall it, you pop it out like that, push it in, and then just push this level, and it flares that out. Now we can get this bottom panel out. You just pull this out, lift up, and it comes right off. We got a speaker here, our inside handle, and we've got an access hole here. I'm going to peel this back so I can access the cables come in here. And I want to try to keep this vapor barrier intact so I can reuse it. It's just for sound deadening. Here's the bottom cable, and I can see that's busted. The top cable comes in up here, and that one's busted too. Mercy! Here's the bottom cable coming in, and I don't know if you can see, but that's busted in there. That's a rubber or plastic fitting that they put on there to hold the cable in place. So there's resistance, so when you pull the handle, it holds the cable casing in place and just pulls the cable. So that one's busted, and that's for the lower latch. So my goal is to get the door open so it's easier to work on. Basically all we're going to do is pull the cable and pull the top cable to release those two and hopefully get the door open. All I'm going to do is put this housing against this metal clip here, the edge of the housing, and I'm going to pull the handle and hopefully that'll unlock the bottom one there. Oh! Beautiful. Now the top one, and I'm going to hold the casing against the metal again so it's just the cable pulling. I've got the top released, I think. I'm going to take the bottom and do the same thing again. And I'm just holding not the silver cable, but the black housing on the cable against this metal here so that it gives it leverage, so it's just pulling the cable through the sleeve. Hopefully that'll release that bottom. Ha ha ha! There we go. Now we can get out there and work on it. Now I'll show you what I was doing. I was just taking this cable and see where the housing or the sleeve of the cable ends there? I was just pushing it up against this metal right here and holding that there. That keeps this in place and allows the latch to work instead of the whole thing moving and then it doesn't unlatch it. So that's all I was doing. Now, I don't know if you can see this broken piece here, but that's the piece of a ferrule that goes on there, and it locks into a ring right back here. That's all busted. There it's good. There's that metal ring. Here's the cable. And that sleeve, you can see that wider part there, which is busted. That slides into that fitting right there and locks it in place, holds the sleeve in place so that just the cable's moving. Well, that's all busted, just sliding around in there like that, which will not allow the latches to operate. So I'm going to fix it right, and I'm going to order some new door cable kit. I'll put it in the description down below if you'd like to order it. They're not very expensive. I'm going to get a set for this side and we'll get it installed. Now this top cable comes down just in a fitting, just like I just showed you there. There's a fitting right there. Comes down the top and it attaches right there. I'm going to disconnect that cable right here. There's just two little wings on the end of this plastic. I'm going to pinch those and push it in. There we go. You see I pushed it out. I need to get the cable. Now just to make this easier to work on, I'm going to take this handle off. There's just a couple nuts on here. And I'm going to pull the speaker out. Hey! 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 Quit that! There's two nuts on here. 9mm. And that just pulls out a little plastic cover here. The speaker's 6mm. There's just 4 of them. Just pull that out and unplug this. You just push this little button in down here and then you can unplug that. Now it gives you all kinds of access in here. And I really need that access to get to the back side of this one. I've got to pinch that and push that cable out just like I did that one. Now if the only place your cables, that ferrule's broken, is down here, then you can just repair that. But I've come this far and it doesn't take long. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cable out. I bought this little kit of Torx bits and I've got a link in the description down below. And I'm just going to use that to get the locks out up top and down bottom and pull the cables right out, and it'll make it a lot easier to work on. Now there's a little trim piece here, and I'm going to pop this one cap out. And the other thing you could do is just pull the rubber off over around that if you're worried about breaking this or whatever, but, well, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. There. I can reuse that. And I think I'm going to leave the other one there. And here's our 3 Torx bit heads. I'm going to unscrew those, and I should be able to pull the cable right out. And you just grab this, turn it, and you can pull it right out. You can see that one's dry and crusty too. Still working, that's the way they're supposed to look. But I just as soon put the metal ones in, then I don't have to fight it in the future or redo it. So I'm going to change them both out, and it'll be easier to do it over on the bench. And the bottom latch has 1, 2, and a 3rd bolt underneath there. So I'll go ahead and loosen those, and then I can pull that out. And that's going to come out through the cavity of the door. And I'll bring it right out where the speaker hole was. There we go. And then the one up here, I just got to reach up here, pinch that, and that'll come out this way. There we go. And I can just pull this out right like that. We'll get those parts ordered. The new parts came in, and I went ahead and ordered a set for both sides. In case eventually the other side breaks, it didn't cost too much more. And if you're interested, I put a link in the bottom of the video description where you can purchase these. So I'm going to start with the top latch, which is this one here. And the bottom's all busted out already, so I just have to get this piece off. These are all the same except for this one here. And this one is for the top. And I'll show you that when we do it. But you can't get into this thing without bending this, and you don't want to do that. So they made it so you can slide this in and then turn it, and that'll lock that in. And these are aluminum instead of this plastic that dries out and rots. So I'm going to clip this off first. However you need to get these off. It's all dried out. Just shot. So that one wasn't hard. And you just slide this over the cable like that. And then I need to slide this in. There we go. And you can see where the ribs are. I got a little bit further to go. There, I think I'm all the way in there. Good. And that plastic pushed all the way up to here. And you can see, maybe you can see there's a stop. Right where it flares out here, there's a stop in there. So I got that all the way in. Now the other end. Oh, that was a devastating blow to it right there. Oh yeah, she's crumbling. Bad design, Ford Motor Company. And this truck sits in the garage. Of course, you don't want to cut this sheathing or the cable, so be careful. There we go. There. And this is kind of a ribbed cable cover there, so it goes on and stays on. And you just put the cable in that slot and then slide it down. See, you got to pull this back like that. There, now I can pull this, slide it in. Basically, you go to the end of those ribs, push this in. You just push that in and turn it, and it's locked in. All right, one down. Got both ends. We can go ahead and install it. Okay, now all I need to do is run it down here, down this pillar, and then it just curves over, and there's that bracket that this will lock in. And then this just snaps in that hole. And there's no track or anything that this fits in. It just goes down there and slide her in. Okay, now all I have to do is reach in here and grab the cable, and I've got it right here. See it? And this groove here goes in that metal clip like I showed you before, and then this just snaps right in that hole there. I'll do it and then I'll show you in here. A little hard to see, it's on the back side. Now, there's that clip that this piece fits in. And it's like this, it's narrow and then it widens out a little bit. You got to press that in. That's not pressed in. The front one will be easy to do for the bottom lock, the bottom latch. But this top one's hard because it's on the back side. So I'm going to try to get that in now. But you got to snap that in. And that'll lock that all in place. So I'm going to take a channel lock pliers. I've got them opened up like that. See if I can get in there and push that in. Ah! Ha ha! Hee doggy! I think I got it. Now that clip that I just put in, here's the one for the lower latch. And you can see it's just like that. You got to press them in. You got to get that pressed in with the pliers. This one will be easy. The other one was harder. And there's the top one. See if I can show you that it's in. You see that? She's all locked in. Now the only thing I have left to do is push this nub through here, which is hooked to the cable, and that'll allow that top latch to operate. There we go. Now I'm going to pull the handle on the outside of the door. And I'll go ahead and test it. Now of course we've only done the upper one, but I want to go ahead and test it. And it's not latching, so it might be too tight. This is the bottom one, and to make that longer, all you do is you have to hold this and you just screw this out, and that'll extend that. And it could be that on the top one I didn't get this fitting on far enough, but I'm going to adjust that out, make it longer, so it'll work. All right. Now let's see if it'll latch. And all I did again is you have to hold this piece right here and you just turn this. If you want to make it longer, you go this way. If you want to make it shorter, you go this way. Okay, this is just like closing the door. So we need it to latch, and it does now. And I'll pull the handle, and it unlatches. And now that I've got that one working, I'm going to take this over the workbench and do this one. Now I think part of the problem with the top one not being right when I installed it is because I didn't get that top hosel or ferrule on far enough. So I'm going to take my white marking pen on this one and mark it. And now I know where it needs to go. And now all we need to do is remove this mess again. Look at that. Just peels right off. And these two are the same. So I want to get that all the way to there, God willing. It is a little challenging to push these on sometimes. Now I felt that bottom out, and because of the stop in there, that's as far as I can get that. And this is basically what I was doing in the door. See how that goes like that? You got to just snap it in. And I can't do it by hand. So you just take a pliers and just pop it in. There you go. And one more ferrule. And because that came up short, I might have to adjust this one out a little bit too. Okay, I felt that one bottom out too. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right there. And they've got a stop in there, so. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn this out a little bit because of that. Now we can go install it. These marking pens are really handy. If you're changing oil on your small engine equipment or your car or whatever, you can just write. It's a permanent white marker. I'll put a link for these in the description below too. Now this one drops in through the speaker hole, and we've got this clip that goes in this hole right here to hold the cable in place, and then this will just snap in that hole up there. And we got to snap the ferrule in that clip. This is the easy one. And I'm just going to put the screws in. You don't need to watch me do that again. There's that snap right here that goes in there. I'm going to do that last though. Just want to make sure everything goes in right. So there's the clip. And actually, looks like this is a little long. You want it basically to line up with the hole. So that seems too long to me. It's above the hole. So, and we opened it up. So I'm going to adjust it back, get it in that clip. I'm going to go ahead and snap this in down here too. Feeling confident. There, and that holds the cable in place. And now we just need to snap this in like I showed you before. So we got to pop that right in there. Got my pliers on it. Squeeze. She's all set. Now let's test it. Beautiful. And now the reassembly is just the opposite of disassembly. That sits back in there. Keep it away from your latch. We'll put our vapor barrier back. Trim piece, and then the nuts go on. Don't want to tighten these too tight. And we'll put the speaker back in. Plug it in first, of course. And this bottom panel, see these hooks here? They just hook down in there, and these hooks here hook in there. You just hook all those in and then drop it down. Just like that. Nothing to it. And then we've got a nut goes on here. There's this little trim knob that goes in here. Like I said before, you have that sticking out and you just stick this in the hole. It'll slide right in. And you just push that center post in, and that locks it in place. And now to the top. This goes obviously just like this. There's clips all along this side, goes in there, and there's clips on this side for there, and they even give you a guide, a starting point right here, goes in that hole there. So I know that's lined up over there. I can pop that in. And this side's lined up. And now just a couple screws right here. If you're using a battery drill, be real careful that you don't cross thread things. This is machine threads. You can cross thread it. So I go backwards till it clicks. And then real gentle starting out. If there's any resistance, I'll back it back off. And you don't want to torque it down too tight. That's all there is to it. Not that difficult. And this piece here helps hold this trim in place too. Well, I also got her all cleaned up while I had everything out. I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, give her a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.